Hi friends, in this video I'll show you how to grow Malabar spinach plant through cuttings or seeds in containers. Here I have grown this plant in both the ways. Malabar spinach plant can be grown throughout the year. There are two varieties of Malabar spinach plant, one with red stem and other with green stems. Basically it is a perennial vine which will grow until 5 to 6 feet tall, and here I am growing this vine on my vegetable trellis. Let's see all the favorable conditions for growing this plant. Let's get started. Malabar spinach prefers a moist, fertile soil that is high in organic matter. Here I have used 40% cocopeat, 20% garden soil and 40% vermicompost. One can also use other type of compost like leaf compost or cow dung manure or any other kind of manures. Oil cakes of neem, mustard, groundnut and any others also can be added at this stage. For more detailed video on how to make this potting soil, I have added links in the description box below for which you can refer later. For growing this plant in containers, choose a container that is at least 6 to 8 inches deep. You don't need very deep pot, rather use a wide pot as this plant tends to grow bushier. Provide a spacing distance of 5 to 6 inches between each plant if you want to pick larger leaves. Otherwise, spacing distance between the plants can be reduced to 2 to 3 inches if you want to pick the leaves at tender stage. Personally, I like to harvest the leaves when they are tender. So I have just maintained a distance of 2 to 3 inches between plants which I am transplanting as well as when I am sowing. Apart from that, if you notice, my grow bag size is 15 inches wide and 9 inches deep. For growing the Malabar spinach plant from stem cuttings, cut the stem just below a node. As I harvest, I retain the bulky stems for rerooting them in soil rather than throwing them away. Later on, I am removing all the top leaves. Now that I have collected all my stem cuttings, I am going to bury these cuttings in the potting soil and keep them in and keep this container out of direct sunlight for about a week so that it can root and adjust to its new environment. About 7 to 10 days later, you can observe new leaves growing. When I am growing this plant from seeds, initially I am making shallow furrows. Then I am dropping the seeds about 0.5 cm deep. The plant will start sprouting within 10 days. You can sow directly in the pot or even transplant the plant once it puts up 4 to 6 leaves. Here I am showing you both ways of doing it. If you see here, I have grown the seeds in one of the containers in a cluster. These seedlings are already having more than 6 leaves. Now all I am going to do is just transplant them to the container wherein I have already placed my cuttings and seeds. Now I am going to space these plants each at intervals of 3 inches. These plants prefer full sunlight, but you can also grow them even in partial shady areas where you get around 3 to 4 hours of sunlight. When growing Malabar spinach in containers, avoid water stagnation because this will lead to development of root rot and various fungal diseases. Do not let the soil dry out either. Keep the soil evenly moist. If watering is irregular, the plant will start flowering continuously. As this plant grows in size, this will need some support. So use a climbing net or some stakes or trellis to let the plants climb. Growing Malabar spinach in pots does not need special care. It will just grow like a weed. This plant needs nitrogen-rich fertilizers. One can add vermicompost, coffee grounds, manures of cow, sheep or poultry to the plant to produce thick, big, fleshy leaves once in 45 days or after harvesting the leaves. You can also use liquid fertilizers like seaweed solution, fish emulsion or compost tea. I have not so far observed any pests or diseases attacking this plant. Generally, you might find once in a while leaf-eating worms or snails eating up your leaves. Generally, I handpick these leaf-eating worms and discard them. If the problem is severe, one can also use organic or homemade pesticides or neem oil. The spinach plant will be ready for harvest 35 to 50 days after germination depending on the growing conditions in your area. Pick outer leaves first and leave the new inner leaves so that they'll continue to grow into a bigger plant. One can even cut off the whole plant at the base so that the plant can regrow again if there is a lot of flowering. So that's all guys about growing Malabar spinach plant in containers. Do try them growing at your home. First time you might not do good, but as you keep growing greens, you will improve with the yields. Check out other videos in my channel. Until the next video, stay safe.